Okay, hey guys, AJ here. Alright, so listen man, what's up? I'm on Cold War now. Now that I got everything I needed for let me see, Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 3. I just figured I'd take a break and go back to Cold War. So one thing about Cold War is I never really played the campaign that much. Not really. I tried like a mission or two, but it just wasn't for me. Zombies, love zombies, and I like the fact that I can play Outbreak and I can play regular round base with it. But the thing is, I only really like one map. The other ones I really don't like as much. But I like the fact that this is the very first multiplayer that I got into, and I thought about trying to get into Modern Warfare and multiplayer in other games, but I wanted to go back to where I started at, and I basically want to just kind of show y'all what got me into multiplayer to begin with. So I'm not gonna really play a full match on this. I'm just gonna show you how I got better at multiplayer. So anyway, multiplayer, every time I thought about multiplayer in the past, I was like, multiplayer is just too different for me. Like, I'm a zombies player, so I was like, how do I even like learn? And then I had to ask myself, how did I learn as zombies? I learned what the perks do, and I learned how they benefit me. I learned how to the better guns to use, and I didn't learn it in one day. So I was like, I played multiplayer, but I never like got into like how I got into multiplayer or like how I got better at it. So I'm just gonna show y'all. I figured let me just make a video and show you how I got better at multiplayer. First thing is, I went into custom games. Now, in custom games, right, what I did was, let's see. I can play with bots. I can play with them for a limited time as much as I want. I can switch I can change the mode of what type of. I can try every single mode that I want to see which one I can get better at. I can change the map. I can put on whatever map I want. And I can get better at it. And I can also check my weapons to see what it is too. I can practice, so when I get into a real game, it's like second nature a little bit more. And everybody says practice makes perfect, right? So now I'm gonna show you how I build my weapon and basically the style of play that I got myself set up. So I'm gonna start my creative class, right? Now, this is going to be backwards, but I'm going to start from the bottom, working my way up. Now, you can put on different modes, but I like having, you can check for yourself everyone that does one. I could explain it now, but it'll make the video longer than it is, and I believe this video is going to probably be long, so longer than my typical video. So I'm going to put on perk greed. I like the fact on this particular one, I can put on 6 perks. I like that. I don't know of a lot of other ones you can, but this one you can. That's what I kind of like about this one. So anyway, let me get into the perks. I'm just going to start fresh. So, paranoia, it makes it so people can see you, blah, blah, blah. And, forward intel, you look at your radar, you get a little bit more intel. But I'm just going to tell you what, I think every single one of these perks in all 3 slots is good. It's just that I'm going to tell you which ones that works for me and my style of play. I got fire thrown at me, and I got explosive that blew me up right away. This makes it so the explosives doesn't affect me as much, and fire is not going to affect me as much. So I'm going to put this on right away. Now, as far as the mask go, I'm immune to gas. So if the gas thing does go off, I'm immune to it. And I like the fact that the flash grenades and the stems grenades is not going and it's not going to affect me that much. Oh, somebody sent me a message saying I see you. Let me just go on to the let me see. I appreciate that. So let me see. So I'm going to put the tactical mask on. Now, as far as my other 2 perks, let me just say this. being able to track somebody with their footprints, that's not really my thing. And salvage, being able to get a player's ammo is actually pretty decent. And, you know, to me, you know, assassin is good if you're like a really, really aggressive player. I've never been that aggressive, and it has its benefits. So I'm just going to tell you the ones that work for me. The ones that work for me is there are certain things that I could have picked that I had more tacticals, more lethals. I don't. So since I don't have more, I put this on so I can, so it can recool a little bit. You know, I can replenish it a little bit quicker. And the second thing that I like is I really like my field upgrade that I pick in this game. It helps me out a lot. And the fact that you can have two and it recharges faster, that actually works for me perfectly. So this is the two that works for me. So now, moving on to the last two. This helps me more when it's score streaks, and I play 6v6 most of the time. So score streaks is not going to affect me. And this right here makes it so you can sprint while you have a tactical or lethal in your hand. So if I'm doing a Pacific challenge, that works for me. So that leads me to the last three. Now, out of these last three, I'm automatically going to pick Ninja. I like the fact that it does what it says. You can move around the map quietly, and I don't know if it's less sound or no sound, but I want to make it so even though I'm more, you know, more of a camper, but I do get aggressive every now and then. And regardless of what I do, and I want to make it so I don't make as much sound as I possibly can. So that leads me to these last two. Again, I play mostly 6v6, so this is gonna like protect me against score streaks, and it's also gonna protect me about like from thermals and all of that stuff and certain attachments on guns, like the thermals and maybe some other ones. So this does help me in certain situations. This helps me in a lot of situations. So basically, how do I bounce back between the two? Well, if I'm playing a lot of lobbies and I see I'm getting taken off by a lot of people with thermals, then I'll probably pick this one. But if I'm not, then I'm automatically gonna go with this one. You can look at everything that it does, but basically paranoia won't work with me. Trip mines and all of those things, you know, I won't be killed by like a lot of those silly things. So that's what works for me. So like I said, there's people that breaks down exactly what each one does, but like I said, I could sit back and tell you everything it does, but that's basically what works for me. So anyway, that's my perks. Now, I'm going to talk about my tacticals, lethals, and my field upgrade. My tacticals, I really love having stem shots, only because all these are great. Being able to stun somebody, being able to throw gas, and there are times when I do use these combined with my my thermals, but there are certain situations I will use this for. I'm not going to lie to you. But I really prefer to have my stem shot. If I get into a gunfight and I win, I like the fact that I can just put this on and I just go into the next fight. So moving on, I love the fact that let me see. There are times when I do got to get up close and personal, and all of these do help a lot of situations. But as for me, if I'm in a like close quarter situation, I like the tomahawk more. I ain't gonna lie to you. Tomahawk, you know, there are a lot of people who kind of figure out what's the time to kill with each weapon. This, it ain't really no time. You let this go, it gets thrown into the other player's chest, they dead. That's it, it's over. So I like the fact that this is gonna kill them right away. So now I'm gonna go up to my my secondary weapon. I really love this when it first came out. It's very powerful, up close and personal. Boom, they dead. But I think they nerfed it a little bit. So I kind of my secondary weapon, I kind of like this one a little bit more. Let's see. So I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna make it so it's dually. So now I'm gonna have it so, let's see. See, the thing is, a lot of things like you got to think differently with multiplayer versus zombies is you got to be able to control the recoil on these weapons. So I would love to be completely immune. And in case you didn't know, there's a radar that's always going to be popping up. They have a radar in zombies, but it's not as important as it is in multiplayer. People is going to completely scour that radar to see when it flashes red. And if it flashes red, then that means you can see where the enemy is. I'm talking about in core, though, not hardcore, but I'm going to get into that in a minute. I'm going to play core more than I play hardcore. But anyway, being able to be off the radar altogether is actually pretty good. But you also got to remember, like, the negatives on that too. Number one, my gun is going to be weaker, and I'm not controlling my recoil with this weapon. So yeah, you got to control your recoil, because these guns, they shoot kind of all over the place. So I'm going to look at this. This is my favorite. This is going to give me 85%, and it's going to help me with my vertical. So that way is my recoil is controlled a little bit. I mean, my gun is not going to, my horizontal gets messed up too, but I can probably figure out a way to fix that. But at least it covers one area. So I'm picking that. Now my barrel. This right here is what a lot of people would aim for. I would aim for this in zombies, because in zombies it's no big deal for the vertical and recoil, because you can just put on Deadshot Daiquiri and then you're straight. Your gun is the strongest. Look at the pros first. The pros, your gun is going to be way stronger, effective range, bullet velocity 120. It all sounds good, right? But in multiplayer, you got to look at the cons. If your gun is really strong but it's shooting all over the place, you're not shooting the enemy then. That means it don't matter how strong. I mean, unless you're like right up in the person's face, then it's not as good. So as good as this looks, I'm not going to go with that. I would rather go with, let me just look at all my options again. Yep, I looked at them. There's a chance that you might be a little bit slightly away from somebody. So I would rather have effective damage range. It's going to make my gun stronger. So it's going to take longer to travel. It'll be less traveling time with bullet velocity, but I'm not going to be shooting this from a big distance. Sorry, but this one can help me with both avenues. My bullet velocity is going to be kind of good, but to me, I think this makes more sense if I was shooting really far away. I'm not going to be shooting that far away, but I would rather make my gun stronger no matter what. So I'm going to just put this on. So let me see the body. Let me go with the magazine next. The magazine, I'm going to put this on. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to put this on because the only drawback is your aim down sight. But when you're playing with a dual weapon, you're not worried about aim down sight. You know, there is no aiming down sight because you're going to have two guns in your hand. So to me, even though it says a con, it is no con in my situation. So now it's going to lead me to the body or the handling. Now I'm going to go with the body. I'm going to explain why. The handling is going to basically make it so your aim down sight is much faster. But again, I'm having a dual weapon, so I don't got to worry about aim down sight. So I'm going to put on the body. Now, let me see. Having your hip accuracy is pretty good, and you have no cons. Well, let me just look at something real quick. Now, you see your reveal right there? In case you didn't know, like your 20, every time you walk up to a player and they walk up to you, there's a certain amount of meters before they can see you. So if I have this on and the other player doesn't have nothing on at all, like this, for example, I would be able to see them before they see me. And that's kind of important. This is the best one, though. When you're aiming down sight, it's 60%. So that means they can be further, way further away, and they won't be able to see me before I see them. When I say see them, I'm not saying physically see them in the game, but I'm talking about the radar. The radar on the top left of your screen. But the thing is, I can't aim down sight because I have a dually on this, like I said. So this won't help me. So this right here is going to help me with my hip. But again, the enemy, if they have one of those on, they'll be able to see me on the radar before I see them. So this gives me 40%. That's not too bad. But let me see what this has. 40%. That's actually pretty good. But this right here has it so it's 30%. But my aim down sight is no big deal. My sprint to fire is going to be affected though. But my reveal is going to be 30 instead of 40. But my hip accuracy is going to be better, so it's probably got some type of laser on. It's going to make me aim at them a little bit better. So I don't want to question where, I mean, when I'm shooting in a gunfight, shooting like crazy, I'm actually able to see where I'm shooting at. I'm probably going to just go with this. Even though this gives me 10 more, I'm going to go with this. It makes my aim down sight effective, but again, I know my cousin accused me of repeating myself a lot, but the aim down sight is not going to affect me in this. So, that's how I'm going to go with that. So, moving to my actual weapon. Well, in this particular Call of Duty, I like assault rifles a little bit more than submachine guns. And on this, right, you see at the bottom, in the middle of the screen at the bottom, it shows the fire, the speed, the accuracy, and the ammo. You see underneath that it says compared to the MP5. Well, every single one of these stats is gone. When you see that green and red, it's basically comparing it to that particular weapon. Now, I'm gonna say that out of all of these weapons, I kind of like the Farah 83 the most, only because this gun naturally has a little bit more bullet velocity than any other weapon, just naturally the way the gun is. So so now I'm gonna click on this, and now I'm gonna show you that now I'm gonna show you that every single gun now is gonna be compared to the Farah 83 now. So now you can look around and you can see this gun is going to be faster, but it's going to be way less powerful, and vice versa. I can get through this all day, but basically this is my favorite weapon, by the way. This is my favorite weapon, by the way, in zombies, but in multiplayer, no, I don't like it as much. So obviously you can just see for yourself. I don't want to make the video longer, but to me, I kind of like this one the most because it having a natural more bullet velocity than any other assault rifle in the game, that makes a big difference for me. So that's the one I'm going with. So now I'm going to show you how I build it though. I only got 5 slots to work with because I got more perks. Now if I picked another one, I would have 8 perks, but I have less. I mean, I would have 8 different slots to pick from, but I have less perks. So I'm just going to work with what I got. What I'm going to do is the muzzle. I'm going to put on the muzzle, and I'm going to see what I got to work with. Have it so like I'm completely off the radar is good, but my drawback is my gun is 20% weaker further away, and my bullet velocity is affected a little bit. This gives you mostly off the radar, but it has no cons. This is gonna help me with my vertical, but I also want to stay off the radar too myself. So this is like the best one to put on. But look at my 32% effective range. You know, that affects me a lot. 32%, it makes my gun way weaker than I want it to be, and my bullet velocity is affected. This right here is not affecting my bullet velocity or my radar, but it helps me with my horizontal recoil control, and it's going to help me with my being off the radar mostly. Basically, when you have 15%, 19%, you don't know what that means, but basically, if I'm 90% off the radar, that means like when somebody looked at the radar and they like constantly looking at it, if I shoot somebody, it's gonna probably like pop for like 1 second and then it's gonna disappear. It's gonna disappear faster. You're not gonna be on the radar as long. Versus like if I was to put this on with no muzzle, no muzzle flash, containment, basically I would flash on the radar and it would stay on longer, the red light, and then it would disappear. It would stay on much longer. I'm more revealed to the enemy if I don't have no type of like muzzle flash, concealed. So this 15%, it is not 100, but it's 15%. It's not going to stay on the radar as much, but my vertical recoil is going to be helping, but my horizontal is going to get affected also too. I just got to figure out a way to correct that. That's all. So I'm going to pick that real quick. Now my barrel, let me see. Let me see. Walking, I don't really care about that. I don't care about a vehicle. Walking around, that I'm not affected by that. So it goes down to these last 3. And I'm going to go down to the bottom first because I already know that this is going to give me the best of everything I got. Get up close is going to give me 3 more damage. Further away, my effective damage range and my bullet velocity is well balanced on the pros. But look at the negatives though. I have less ammo, which is not a big deal, but my horizontal and my vertical, that's not a big deal in zombies at all. But in multiplayer, it's going to make your gun way worse than when you want it to. So with that being said, I am not going to pick that at all. So it boils down to these two. Now, remember earlier when I told you this gun already naturally has a lot more bullet velocity than any other assault rifle in the game? So bullet velocity is not a problem with this weapon. But if I get a chance to make it 150 times more effective range stronger, then I'm going to go with that. So let's see, the body is going to make it so the reveal thing like I mentioned to you, so that's not as important. It's important, but I'm going to be shooting this particular gun further away. So let me just see what else I got to work with. My underbarrel, that's going to help me right there with my horizontal problem, but I'm going to look at my other options though. This is going to make it so I move around better, but I'm still going to be shooting the same. So I wanted something to make my gun shoot better. This doesn't help me with that. This doesn't help me with that. And this doesn't help me with that at all. All three of these doesn't help me with that. So it boils down to my last two. So this is going to make my horizontal 15% a little bit better. And it's going to affect me a little bit. So this doesn't that bad. This only gives me 3 more, percentages in horizontal. And it does help me with my vertical like the other one does. So this one helps me with my recoil the most, but it's going to make it so my shooting move speed is affected a lot. But the thing is, it depends, to me it's no real bad attachment. It's really like based on your style of play. This gun in particular, I'm going to be shooting this one more from a distance. I'm not going to be aggressive like shoot up straight gunfight, so I would rather the gun shoot more accurately. So I'm going to pick this one. So now my magazine, I look at see what gives me the most, and this one gives me the most. It's gonna make me reload the most. The only thing is my aim down sight is gonna be affected a lot, but I'm gonna be a gunfight. Hopefully I win, and then I'm gonna be aiming down sight a little bit more with this weapon, so I don't have to worry about how fast I aim down sight when I'm already moving, when I'm already aimed down sight. But if I'm more aggressive, then I would probably pick this one. But if you're gonna be less aggressive, you're better off picking this one. So it's like, again, it's down to the style of play. So now I'm not gonna pick this. The body's not as important, so it all boils down to which one of these is a little bit more important to you. Well, anyway, I could fix my aim down sight problem right now by picking one of these, or I can go with my sprint to fire. Sprint to fire is very important if you're going to be more aggressive. Since I'm not, it all boils down to my body or this. Well, since I'm going to be less aggressive in this particular build, and by the way, you can build a gun a certain way in different situations. So I could build this gun 2 or 3 times, and depending on what game I get into, I can have it changed completely differently. So I'm going to care more about my aim down sight and correcting that real quick. So this gives me the most aim down sight, but let me look at the cards. The shooting range, the shooting movement speed, and my sprint to fire. Now my sprint to fire is going to be not as infected, but my shooting move speed, that's the only difference here, right? That 5%, will it make a difference? It will make a little bit of a difference. So I'm gonna go with, I'm not gonna be aiming down sight as much though. But the times when I do have to aim down sight, I want to be faster than the next person, so I am gonna go with this. But you also can change your build up too. So basically that's my build right now. So if you're still in the video right now, I'm gonna just say, well, you know what? This is my build. Oh yeah, wait a minute. I forgot to change this. My field upgrade. That's what I forgot to do. My field upgrade. A lot of these are good depending on the situation, but my favorite one is this one. Let me just give you a brief summary. Basically, this particular one is gonna make it so somebody throws a grenade at you or throws a Molotov at you, it's gonna basically destroy it. But it can be countered with the jammer. But the jammer is one of the best ones, but it can be hacked and somebody can use it against you, and it can be killed. It can be destroyed easier. Like if you throw a grenade at the jammer, it'll just blow it up. throw a grenade at this. So they're both good. I both like these in different situations, and I will put one on or the other depending on the map or the situation. But overall, I like the Sentry system a little bit better than that one. And since I got spy hack on, if somebody hacks it, I could just hack it back. But anyway, this is what I'm gonna go with. But this is exactly how I would want my gun and my everything. But I'm gonna change things just well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna put this. Matter of fact, let me see. I'm gonna change things just a little bit, just for 1 second, and it's gonna make sense in a minute. Let me see, my Molotov. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into a practice match just to show you what I just did. All right, so I'm gonna change some of the rules real quick. I'm gonna have it so this is unlimited time, this is unlimited points. I don't have to worry about that. I'm not gonna change the player. I'm gonna keep that exactly the same. No, I'm not gonna change any of that stuff. Let me see what else. Bots, rules, settings. There's another thing that I wanted to change. Here it is. I want to change it so when you go into the match, that intro, that whole driving into the map, and you know, basically that cuts that off. All of that stuff I'm going to keep the same. The way my player is, I'm going to keep that the same. So now I'm going to just jump into the match, and I'm just going to just show you. Wait, matter of fact, one more thing I want to check. No, everything looks good. I'm going to explain what I did everything in a second. So I'm going to just start this up real quick. Okay. All right. So like I said, this game is going to be more practice than anything. So I'm going to put this on. And somebody might think that, is all of this kind of necessary? To me, I think it is if you want to be a little bit better at multiplayer. If you want to like play a little bit better, you can do all of this stuff. Take a second to do all of this stuff. Now, let's see. So now I'm going to check my gun. Absolutely shoots like a laser. Well, by the way, a lot of people say, hey, what's the big deal? Well, I put in my attachment so it can aim. And the recoil is like a little bit worse further away, but basically I'm not really moving the analog at all. I'm just letting it shoot naturally, and that's the way it's shooting. The other thing is, I want to also see this real quick. So this is the radar. I don't think the other players might be able to see this. I really don't know. But when it says like being able to aim a little bit better, this is what they meant. And I'm shooting to the chest, so I have much more of a chance of like taking them out. So as far as my gun shooting the way it is, a lot of people might think, well, what's the big deal? So, well, let me just show you. Right now, let's say that I wanted to, let's see how I got muzzle flash concealment. Let's say like I wanted to go with 100% and say, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Even though my gun is weaker, I want to be off the radar 100%. I don't know what you're talking about. Staying off the radar is the way to go. Okay, let's say I wanted to go with that, right? So I just made that change, right? Now, in order for me to effectively see what the change does, I'm going to have to kill myself and come back into the match. That's the reason why I put in Molotovs. It's unfortunate. Before, I mean, I could have left the match and came back in, but that takes a lot longer to do. So I just do it this way. So anyway, now that I'm back in, I'm going to show you what the difference is when I switch one of my attachments. By the way, just to let you know, I didn't move the analog that way. I didn't do that. What happened is I literally just aimed and I used my trigger button like I did with any other weapon. Now I'm just going to aim and I'm going to shoot. I'm not moving it up. The gun is doing that itself because that's how bad recoil is. So when you get into a match with somebody who can shoot like accurately and you're shooting way up here, it's not as good. But the thing is, you're off the radar. And the other reason why I brought this in is because it can keep me giving me ammo while I check things out. So now I'm going to go back to what it was. And so my vertical recoil is controlled. My horizontal is kind of controlled. That's why I wasn't moving from left to right, as you can see. So that's kind of controlled still. But a lot of people think, is that all important? Yeah, it is all important in multiplayer. It is kind of important. Where am I? I'm probably going to see my dead body just sitting there. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Yep. Anyway, now I switched it back. So now when you get into a gunfight with somebody, you're not just... And that's the other reason why I changed my from the trophy system. When I'm testing out guns, I can keep getting ammo. The other thing that's good about practice mode is you can see what the map looks like. You can see, because in a regular match, you can check it out. You can see where, what everything does. You can see how to mantle or something. You can learn how to, chill right here and, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's how I test my gun. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it against bots. And again, I'm going to probably send this video to somebody I know, and if it's videos that is very long for you, I apologize, but I just figured let me just make this video real quick. Sometimes I wish I learned how to edit a little bit better. That way I can just, cut out certain things. But I will say this, I should have said this sooner, but you don't actually have to watch the whole video. You can just watch bits and pieces of it if you want, but like I said, I just wanted to make this video just to make it. So, and like I said, every multiplayer game is a little bit differently, but this one is gonna overall give you the basis on how to, the basis on any Call of Duty. So now, my gun, now that I like the way my gun is, I'm gonna test it against bots. Now, I'm gonna put on bots, right? Let me add some bots in here. Alright, let me see how many bots I got. I got the max amount of bots. So now, I'm gonna put in remove bots. No. Add a let me see. I put on a lot of bots. So now I add another bot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the bot settings real quick. I can change the difficulty level and all of that stuff, but I'm going to just overall keep it the way it is. But what I am going to do is I'm going to move the place. I am going to move the way it is a little bit. So now I'm going to have it so let me see. Let's see. I'm gonna put on. I'm gonna kick these players real quick. I'm gonna kick them. Now you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now 6 of them versus just me. But this is practice mode. So I'm gonna show y'all. Like how I play. As a matter of fact, I am gonna change one thing, and this is more like my style of play. I'm gonna change a couple of things here actually. Number one, I'm gonna put back on the trophy system because that's how I typically play. I just put on the ammo crate to just keep testing out my weapon. So now I'm gonna put the ammo crate back on. I mean the trophy system back on. The other thing I'm gonna change now is I don't need to put on Molotovs. I'm gonna put on. I like all of these. Well, I don't like the frag, but these three right here I like. But I like Molotovs. I mean, I like the Tomahawks a little bit more, only because there are times when I'm not like up close and personal, and I'm further away, and that's what helps me out the most. Now, I'm gonna change one thing about my gun, and this is more of my style of play. There are times when I'm playing multiplayer and I really typically can't see the other player because they hiding really good, blah blah blah. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sacrifice my aim down sight altogether to get my my thermal on. I'm gonna put on thermal only because there are times when I literally look and I will see a player, but sometimes I can't tell right away if it's my teammate or not. I'm talking about when I'm shooting from a distance. So having this on works for me. And in certain situations, I would actually change the Tomahawk, and I would not the Tomahawk. I would change the stem shot, and I would put on smoke. That way they can't see me as much. But anyway, I'm just gonna test this out and see how it all works out. Let me see. Let's see. Do I gotta change anything else? I got the map is still the same. The map is still the same. I'm gonna have it. See, it's unlimited. This is unlimited, so I don't gotta worry about my time. So yeah, let's get started. So 6 bots versus me. I put on as many bots as possible only because I don't want to be walking around the map and I'm like, where the hell are the bots at? You know what I'm saying? I just want to leave them on. So now what I could do is I can walk around the map and I can just keep practicing the Tomahawk, for example. And I can walk around the map testing out my thermal. My aim down sight is pretty good, but is it really good? Do I need to change any things? And I could. That's the whole point of this. It's practice mode. It's not the real thing. So, you know, and let's say, like, for example, you wanted to get better at using a sniper rifle. You can on practice mode. Oh, yeah, I'm going to chill right here. Okay. So my aim down sight is actually really fast. It's really good. So now, I'm going to show you how this works now. They're all the way on the other side of the map. Shoots like a laser. I forgot to change my field upgrade. That's what I forgot to do. I can hear them coming. The radar. I can hear their footprints. And I don't know how well you can hear this when with the recording, but I should have made them a little bit. I should have made the one thing I kind of regret is I wish I should have made the difficulty a little bit more, so it would like assemble like a real player. Damn. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention is you can test out all of the field upgrades you're probably never gonna unlock anyway, but you can test them out here though. By the way, when you're running out with this, you're probably better off now. I could have changed their difficulty, but I can change that right now though. Probably gonna die, but a lot. But that's like, but the thing is, I'm glad I showed you that though, because see, it bounces a little bit, but because I'm a little bit further away, but I forgot about the final thing at the end. But I could change the difficulty and all of that stuff. But since I got a couple of people watch me anyway, I appreciate that. I might as well just get into a regular match right now and just show you like the things that I changed. How can it work for me in a regular match? So that's what I'll do. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to audio and basically you really don't want to hear anybody else in multiplayer. That's just my opinion, but I just turn it off so I don't have to hear anybody. Some of them be like, yo, why did you do me like that and all of this stuff. I had it on once by mistake, and it's like, in zombies, we're working towards a goal. We're trying to, you know, kill the zombies together. Like we're seeing what everybody got. We're all on the same team. We're on the team of the living, and you're going against the dead. But in this, every man for himself, so I really don't need to hear what they got to say, to be honest with you. So now, let me see. Yep, I'm going to put on my, basically I'm going to set up everything that I just did and show you how it works for me in a real match. Here we go. I'm going to put on this. I'm just setting myself up really quickly. Alright, so trophy system. I haven't practiced the tomahawk a lot. As you can see, like there's a lot of times when I miss my throw. Should I put on stim text grenades? See, that affects me too. I'm gonna put this on just to put it on. Stim shots. So let's see, my gun. As you can see, that worked for me, so I'm gonna put that back on. Put on attachments real quick. Muzzle. Let's see. 60% damage. Reveal. Oh, I forgot that I have more than one account, and I forgot on this one, I forgot to unlock this. Okay, well, that kind of sucks. Let's see. I'm just going to be reloading a little bit slower, that's all. Don't have this either yet. Then that's... Oh, wait a minute, the dually's off. Alright, I completely forgot that I have more than one account. So, this one, the dually's off, so I'm going to actually change up my whole style altogether. Okay, so, let me see. I'm going to change things up. I'm still going to keep that the same. I got to remember that I have a dually system now. I'm still going to keep that on. So, basically what I'm saying is, in case y'all don't know, that basically means, I don't have two guns in my hand. I only got one, so that changes things a little bit. So instead of having the dual on, I am gonna work on the aim down sight, and I'm gonna put on the best one I possibly could. But even if this was unlocked, I probably would put this on anyway. So I just had to make a slight adjustment. That's all. What, did I even max out this on this game? Let me see. I don't remember. Well, anyway, no, I didn't. I didn't max this one out. Alright. So, I'm gonna go with... Let me see, did I max out the AK? I completely forgot that I didn't... I should have put on my other account before I started this. But let me see something here. This is my second favorite gun, but this one is still... I'm still working on this too. Which one did I max out? I know I maxed out this. Or at least I think I did. Yeah, I maxed this out. So it's not going to be as good, but I'm going to put on the same attachments for the most part. It's just that the gun is different, so it's going to be slightly different, obviously. Bullet velocity. The bullet velocity is not as good in this weapon, but I would rather, let me see. This gives me 80. But this gives me bullet velocity. I didn't have to think about these things on the gun that I really like. This one naturally doesn't have as much bullet velocity, but it's gonna make my gun stronger. I'm not sure if this is the best attachments for this particular gun. The other stuff was geared more towards the other weapon, but my reveal. Let's see, my magazine. Actually, you know what? I am going to do an experiment now. I'm going to just put on everything that I typically would put on and see how much of a difference it would make with this particular weapon. This is my aim down sight. I'm going to sacrifice my aim down sight for the scope on this gun too, so it's similar to the same build as my other gun. Alright, so, and I have that similar to, I have my perks here. Alright, so 6v6 face off. Yep, I guess I'm gonna jump into zombies, and the very next gun that I work on is the Farah, because 83, because that's the gun that I really like playing with in multiplayer. So when I get around to it, I'm gonna definitely work on this weapon, definitely work on that weapon. So let's see. COD 3. I have tokens. Sometimes I'll be surprised to see that people still play this game. But I guess if the servers are still up, that's just proof right there that just because a game is newer doesn't mean it's actually better. Some people still prefer the older games. Not just me. So we just need a few more people. This is not exactly my favorite map, but you know what? But I don't want to see. The thing is, if this game was still in its prime, what I would do is I would restart it and I would put on another map. But it's not a whole lot of people to go around. It'll probably be searching for a lot longer. So because of the volume of people not playing this game, plus the new season of Black Ops 6 just came out, so a lot of people's more on that right now. All right. My aim down sight is really terrible on this. Damn. Damn. Some of my practicing paid off, huh? Sorry, buddy. I really miss having two weapons on here. I should have changed my secondary weapon. Yeah, what else is new? See, for me, like, I don't have to wonder now who's the enemy. But my aim down sight is way worse on this. Damn, I saw him in the last second. Sorry, buddy. Aim down sight. My recoil is terrible on this gun. They're not there, then they're coming from this direction then. I should have had my other gun out already. That was my fault. But then again, I am slightly... See? That's the reason why I have that on. Damn. Damn. Well, I was literally in the middle. I'm not the best, I'm not the worst, I'm in the middle, so. I'm never gonna pretend to be the best multiplayer guy, because I'm a zombies player first, but my other gun, this is what I did originally. When I got into, I didn't mention this before, but when I got into multiplayer, every single one of my guns was maxed out because I played zombies until they all got maxed out. So when I was watching tutorials and videos on what the best attachments to put on, I didn't have to question whether it was unlocked or not because it was all unlocked. But in this particular, setup, I don't really have all the guns unlocked yet. So if I would have had that other gun that I was just practicing on, I would have did way better. But anyway, I don't want to make the broadcast longer than it needs to, but basically I went into practice mode. I showed you how I practice, how I set up, and I basically rely that practice on. But like I said, this is the way that you can get better at multiplayer, but unless you practice it over and over again, you're not going to be the best. You're just going to be better at it. And you can build upon what I just showed you on this particular, video. And like I said, the only thing that I did was a mistake was I put on the wrong account. So this one, I don't have everything unlocked, like I said. So anyway, I'm going to end the broadcast now. I'm going to grab myself some lunch, and I get it with you guys later. All right, peace out.